yes. Live in the flesh, and we living our best. AR the Prophet.
Along with Souljah Strong Pat.
Hey, and this is the Souljah Strong Way podcast. Welcome. Hey,
Yep.
welcome back, Rastafari.
Yes, sir.
Good to see you, King.
Yes, sir.
How you feeling, man?
A little dream, but I'm here. I'm
Yeah.
fighting. I'm
Okay.
battling.
Yeah, battling. I like that. I like that. You looking good, man.
Thank you.
I'm glad to have you here, man. We missed you last week, but
Yeah.
you know how it go, man.
You know.
I know how it go.
You know.
Always good to have you in the flesh, baby. Hey, let's talk about it. We got another funky, fresh show for y'all this week. And we want to talk about this week, Mismanaged as Pediatrics. This one for the kids. This one for the caregivers. This one for the soldiers. All right, so listen. We want to give you tips and different alternatives and different ways to live well and manage your sickle cell crisis on your own. And, start learning to be your own doctor. So this is what we're going to talk about today for the youth and for the caregivers. Yeah. So the first thing that we want to tell the caregivers, please listen. Always believe your child.
Always believe your child.
Why is that so important, Rastafari?
You don't want to put your child in a situation that's going to be dreadful for them.
What do you mean?
For example, if a child wakes up at an odd time in the morning and all of a sudden it's telling you something is wrong, why would that child, you have to think about it.
Right.
Why would that child, just wake up and that child you normally would wake up around that time? Something is wrong.
True.
So you have to believe your child.
You have to
your
believe your
told
child.
him he don't feel like going to school today. Why? Take the time out to find out the reason why before judging.
Right. Any kid, as we know, kids, they got energy. They is not trying to miss a day away from their friends and hanging out at school.
Yeah,
so, believe your child, Sickle cell is a chronic fatigue illness, as well as a chronic illness, chronic pain illness. So, believe your child, The body is always tired. The body is always dehydrated. The body is always feeling like it just fatigued, just tired, bro.
Just tired because
that's what it is. Sickle cell.
It don't go whole cell.
Right.
So that cells, so the body get tired quick.
First thing, so believe your child. Believe your child when your child comes to you, letting you know that they're having some complications, that they're not feeling well, that they feel some type of way. Talk with your child. Get an understanding of what's going on. Don't let it become to a point where your child is feeling like they have to go through these things alone and they can't come to you and tell you that they having issues with themselves. So you even bring up questions. Ask them how they feeling. Ask them how they slept. Make sure they eating a clean, healthy diet. Yeah, healthy living.
Healthy living.
All right.
There you go.
Yeah. So we want to talk about that.
Saying that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Healthy living.
Healthy living. Yeah, because we're trying to live. We're not trying to die. So listen to this, man. We got number one thing is alkaline water. You got to get on the alkaline water.
Yeah, alkaline.
Yeah. And it's gonna get expensive. So try to find you a alkaline system that you can get in your house. So. But if you can't afford that, listen, make sure you get natural alkaline spring water. That's going to help hydrate the cells.
Water.
That's going to help hydrate the cells other than anything else. Listen, and what else, man?
Herbs?
No, food-wise first.
Food-wise?
Yeah.
Greens, like leaves, vegetables, fruits,
salads,
vegetables, and all stuff like that.
Yeah, fruits and vegetables.
Fruits and vegetables is real good.
Try to keep like a fruit bowl in the refrigerator. Keep a salad bowl in the refrigerator. Kale, spinach, bok choy.
Keep them with the mind frame that fruits and vegetables is good.
High in chlorophyll.
Not just a meat diet.
No, you wanna have like a nice plant base. You don't have to not eat meat, but You don't want to have a meat on a consistent basis. Try days where you're doing more fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna feel better. Absolutely. Find a natural alkaline diet, and that's what it is. Mostly plant based, and that's good. Beans, find beans. Beans help you too. A lot of protein.
Yeah.
Yeah, omegas. You need those. So yeah, that's the start. Ginger and turmeric.
Yeah.
Why are those two important, Rasta?
Because turmeric alone is chronic. It helps chronic illness.
Absolutely.
Chronic pain, chronic anything.
Yeah, inflammation, anti-anxiety.
Inflammation, so,
Yeah, antioxidants.
Turmeric is number one good.
All right. And what about ginger?
Ginger is like an antioxidant, you said.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
helps with the digestive system.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
these are the things that you want. And so let's talk about herbs, man. Herbs as another thing that you should, introduce. And people always ask me, is it okay if I what age should I give my child? My child is 2. My child is 3. Should they take this to this? So I want to talk about that today.
Well,
So
let me ask you this. Whenever people, grown-ups, are taking alcohol, or do they measure down how much they're supposed to take if they want to get drunk or whatever? No. You introduce your herbs to your child in small portions.
Mhm.
You don't want to introduce 10 leaves off the bat of this herb and give it to your child. No, you introduce it in small portions to your child. And that way it gets introduced into your child's system from young.
At what age? What age is young? Talk to us.
Like at what? 6 months.
All right.
You got kids in the island drinking herbs out of bottles.
6 months. And that's what we want to talk about.
I mean, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just a little introduction to it.
And we're going to give you 3 natural herbs that you can start off with infants from 6 months all the way to 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So peppermint.
Yeah.
Peppermint.
Digestion.
Digestion, stomach, liver, excessive gas problems, and anything resulting in upset stomach. So peppermint.
Yeah.
We got lemongrass.
Yeah.
Also known as fever grass in the islands.
Colds and flus and all that.
Absolutely.
It's just all good natural herb.
Absolutely.
They give it to kids every morning in the island.
All right. So, and another one is chamomile.
Chamomile, good for sleeping.
Good for sleeping. All right. Also good for, it's from the daisy family. It's a calming plant. Sedative properties, allergies and eczema properties, asthma and bronchitis, whooping coughing. So, any type of extra coughing, excessive coughing at night, any type of allergies that your child may have, get you some chamomile. And when you're introducing these things, you would boil them like you would boil the tea for yourself, but you would set it off to the side and let it cool down.
Yeah.
Let it cool down, like the same way how you would feed a bottle to them, and then give it to them to help them sleep. And these are nighttime things. These are soothing agents. These are healing remedies that's supposed to help, that will actually help. All right. So, and another thing we want to talk about is if they're having pain, if they're having pain crisis.
Always want to introduce them to herbs. With soursop is a good herb, but if soursop is not working within that certain time period, introduce them to ibuprofen or CBD products.
Okay.
Before you introduce any narcotics.
Absolutely. So ibuprofen, Motrin, a lot of alkaline water.
Yeah.
CBD. You want to get you some medicinal CBD. If you have any troubles finding any type of CBD, medicinal good CBD products, look online for Holistic Hemp GA. And they have very good CBD products that's top of the line, and they will help you with any type of pain, chronic pain that you're going through. And get you things like Tiger Balm. Find you some Tiger Balm, Epsom salt bath for the child, heating pads, heated blankets. They have those. These are things that you would try out before going to the hospital. I always like to say, give yourself 3 days. Give yourself 3 days with these type of remedies,
Yeah.
with these home remedies,
Yeah.
before you run to the ER and start using Western medicine. Because the thing about it is, with the Western medicine, this is where the problems are introduced. You want to keep it on a natural basis from the time that the child is an infant, or 5 to 6 months, all the way until at least 10 years old. You want to keep them on a consistent natural diet, because the thing with me, I didn't have this when I was a child. I'm not sure about you, Rastafari. You know, I didn't have these. We wasn't taking these natural things coming up. We was running to the hospital every time I was in pain, and I had to deal with Western medicine. So at 6 months, I was getting Demerol. You know what I'm saying? I was having morphine. At 8 years old, I had my appendix taken out. I've had surgeries. You know what I'm saying? 8 years old. Like, we want to start getting these things administrated. You want to get the child on a healthy start first before the body starts getting all of these Western medicines. We're not saying don't go to the hospital. That's not what we're saying, because there are going to come times in your life where you're going to need the hospital. But the best bet for you, the most helpful thing, is to start the child on a more natural home remedies. That way the child can be helped. Like, you want to get some vitamins on an everyday basis. Multivitamins. The child going to need it, whether it's a male or a female. Multivitamins. Mostly multivitamins that are natural, all natural, and gelatin-free. Gelatin-free products. I'm not going to tell you what products to use, but use some that are gelatin-free. Absolutely. So the thing is, when I was this young and I had to go to the hospital, it just become them giving me medicine on medicine on medicine, because it becomes a repetition, right? So I told you at 8 years old, I had my appendix taken out. By 15, I'm having priapism. I was kicked out of pediatrics at 15 years old. They moved me out of pediatrics at 15 years of age. So at that time, I was going through all this pain that was unknown. They giving me Dilaudid pills. I got extended release morphine pills. And at the time, when the doctor continues to see you in the hospital all the time, what do? They're gonna keep upping the medication, the narcotic dosage. Oh, that's not working for you? You start off with 8 milligrams. Then you start off with 10 milligrams. Then you start off with 30. And then it's 60. And then the next thing you know, you're taking 180 milligrams of narcotics a day. And that cycle that's a deadly cycle. You don't want to get started on that type of treatment.
You start to get cirrhosis of the liver, kidneys start to get damaged.
All of that. Yeah, you start to be at risk for iron overload. You start to have too many blood transfusions, and the bodies just start a vascular necrosis, because medicine breaks down the body. Western medicine breaks down, that chemical breaks down the body. You start losing teeth in your mouth. You know, it's a lot of stuff. Like, a vascular necrosis is very real. But once you start going through all this pain, and you start having them administrating you all of these narcotics on all these drugs on top of each other, then you're looking at a road of dependency, where now you're fighting not only sickle cell, but you're also fighting opioid dependency, that the body needs all of this medicine just to be well.
Yeah.
You know?
For real.
So these are the tools and the mechanisms that we want to influence on you. So for my young,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, bro.
My sister started having crisis at 6 months old. So
Talk about it.
My dad, you know, ever since I came into the picture, my dad already knew that he wasn't going to take that Western route. So my dad was always trying to introduce natural things to us. I remember one time we took a trip, and my dad went searching for noni, the natural noni fruit. You know, and came and found it. You know, these are the things that, but like it is. You don't want to grow up on just, like he said, Western medicine.
Absolutely.
Search around.
Yeah, it was different. It was different for me, because, you know, we really didn't have no insight. We didn't have nobody. We wasn't drinking tea. We was eating what we was eating. We was just living, you know. So it's different. You had a different upbringing. You know, you had siblings that had sickle cell with you. So
Yeah.
talk about that, man. How was that when you got sick? When your sisters got sick when y'all was young? How was it?
Well, a lot of people, nurses used to ask us, yo, anytime my sister got sick, I will follow right behind my sister.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they would, between a week and 2 weeks, I'll be right behind the hospital. And it's been like that ever since we were young. You know? A week or two, I'm following right behind her. I don't know what it was, but it was some crisis that caused her to go in. And because, I don't know, the distance or, you know, they said they had that golden cord attached to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was that golden cord that got disconnected. And crisis came to me.
Wow.
So, you know, you really could. There was really nothing I as a brother could do. She as a sister couldn't do, because you know, when you're in a serious crisis, even a simple touch hurt.
Right.
You know, but just having her there, knowing that, you know, that she knows what I'm going through, that was enough for me.
Right. Okay.
You know? So.
Man, let's talk. I want to talk. Me and you had different upbringings with sickle cell, but we both have sickle cell type SS genotype.
Yeah.
All right, so talk about your upbringing with sickle cell. Like, talk about, like, you had a stroke. I've never had a stroke.
I had a stroke at the age of 11.
Let's talk about that, man.
I had a stroke at the age of 11, and I had to learn how to do everything all over again. So
11 years old, bro.
yeah,
That's young. That's a kid.
yeah.
So, talk about that, man. How was that? Like,
It was the most difficult thing to go through, to know, because I knew in the back of my head, all these things that I'm learning all over again, I knew that I already knew them. You know, so to learn how to walk, I knew already in the back of my head. I knew that I already knew how to walk. Learn how to talk in the back of my head. I already knew I knew how to talk. You know, to learn how to spell and write and do all these things all over again that you already knew you knew how to do. That was depressing. You know, I didn't really care for the front, like the spotlight no more.
True.
You know, before that, I wanted to be seen. After the stroke and having to live with a limp, you know, I didn't really care for the up front light no more, because now I'm be looked on as something as different. Now I'm be looked on as now I'm disabled. You know, I didn't come into the world disabled. I came into the world disabled, but you couldn't see it.
True. I got a question for you, man. So, after you had your stroke, how did it affect your sickle cell? Like, how did that affect your sickle cell after you had the stroke? At 11 years old, like.
After I had the stroke, that's when I started, the blood transfusion started happening.
More frequent?
More frequent.
How often?
It was every 6 months. Every 6 months turned into every 3 months, and then every 3 months, you know, as needed now.
Right. So at this point, why did they make you have so many blood transfusions after you had a stroke? What they say?
No, because they wanted to keep your blood level at a certain level. Because they didn't want me to. For me personally, they didn't want me to drop below 9. My
Why?
blood level below 9, because I'll take a risk of having another stroke.
And that's your hemoglobin?
That's the hemoglobin.
Wow.
So that's the reason they didn't want me. But that's you know, as a young kid, teenage years.
So that's where they
So
wanted
now,
above 9.
Yeah, they wanted me up 9 or above. They didn't want, if it was 8.9, they wanted me to get a unit of blood. You know?
Wow.
Because they didn't want it dropping nowhere below 9.
Now, how is it now? How is it now that you're...
Just the other day I was in the hospital. I was like, 5.8? I had to get 4 units of blood.
5.8. Wow, that's very low. I just want to stop you and say 5.8 is very low. You could be at risk for stroke if you drop anywhere in the 5s. And that's hemoglobin numbers.
Yeah,
so
that is.
a hemoglobin is a protein in the blood. That's one of the reasons why it's our fetal hemoglobin, which is the reason why our cells sickle, because the protein isn't how it needs to be. So, man, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
You have regular blood transfusions that you can get. You have exchange transfusions that you can get. And some people with sickle cell are just doing regular dialysis. So they have like 3 days out of the week where they're going into the dialysis and getting blood exchange transfusions for 5 hours a day. That is extensive treatment for the body. These are the tips and tools we're trying to help you to live well on a natural diet. That way you don't have to put yourself through all that hurt and harm. That's a lot of stuff for the body.
Yeah.
So we want you to live well. We want to share these tips with you. Always know that we in your corner. There's more to life than just Western medicine. Yeah. Yeah. The Souljah strong way. It's the Souljah strong way. The Souljah strong way. It's the Souljah strong way. Warrior Wednesday. Living well with sickle cell. It's the Souljah